Hi, I'm Nancy O'Neill. Today on Suncoast FYI, we talk to Patty Narozny with the Hot Works Estero Fine Art Show, director Jennifer Fagenbaum with Family Promise of Sarasota County, Chief Judge Charles E. Williams of the 12th Circuit Court, Principal Dan Boxser of Boxser Diversity Initiative, Steve Arvey with Venice Blues Festival, and CEO Erin of Venice Mainstreet. All next on Suncoast FYI. Our first guest this week is Patty Narozny to talk with us about the upcoming Hot Works Estero Fine Art Show. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too,
I've
Nancy.
seen your posters and you do a wonderful job promoting, so please tell us all about the show and what our viewers can expect to see.
Well, sure. We're celebrating our 20th biannual Estero Fine Art Show, now in Fort Myers in a brand new location at Gulf Coast Town Center, and it's November 18 and 19. And thank you for your compliments, because we work really hard.
I know
and the
how
show
hard
is
it
voted top 100 art shows in the nation the last 3 years in a row.
Oh, well, what makes your show so special then?
Well, as owner and producer of the event, and I'm also president of our nonprofit Institute for the Arts and Education, our focus is visual arts, which means we look for originality, technique, execution, and booth appearance. And jury does not mean juried, is what I'm trying to educate the public. They really need to know who is doing the jurying behind the event and what the goal behind the event is. So we make sure, especially, we have a national problem with import, buy, sell, which means they're not making the work that's encroaching into our juried shows. So I'm an advocate against that, and we make sure that all work is original and personally handmade by the artist in the show. What makes it top 100 are the artists vote, and it's based on their sales, I'm sure.
Okay, so when you talk about jurying, because I've been involved with that before, and so you initially ask the participant, whoever wants to come into your show, they send in an application, you ask them these questions, right? How it's made, where it's made?
Well, initially, how they apply is they have to sign off on our rules, and one of the first rule is please do not apply if you don't make your work, and that all work must be original and personally handmade by you. So that's how one way I avoid.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's
I start right off.
I agree.
And and also our jurors have art fair experience and have an art education. And what I'm finding out as a show director is some of these shows are juried by someone's wife because she feels she's important and needs to be part of the show.
So you have professional
So
jurors.
right, and so I've also attended about 1,000 shows nationally. So I'm on the street and I hear everything, and I'm an advocate, so I ask what doesn't belong, and artists report to me, and then we do a little bit of legwork, we do some background, we do Google searches, we check out the studios.
So that brings
get
me
raw
to my,
invoices.
to my next question. That's how you've possibly grown to be one of the top shows. People know that you just don't let anybody in.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's what sets you apart from a lot of other shows. So tell us more. There's another component to this. There's an art competition program that you have in conjunction with the event.
Yes. Well, about 12 years ago at a show directors conference, we discussed, because the economy tanked, and art is one of the things that get cut back, and our art show is going to exist. Fortunately, stocks are the highest they've ever been, and the economy is coming up and jobs are coming back. So this year should be a really nice season for the art industry, but also weather can affect any outdoor show especially, or even indoor show. So I noticed that the average age of our artists are over 60 years old, and I implemented a program about 12 years ago, a youth art competition, where we encourage students. In Estero, it's for grades K through 8 and ages 5 through 13. And I'd like to do a shout out to Elizabeth O'Lanson and Cindy Collins. They're 2 teachers in Lee County.
Wonderful.
Who have made the program a big success.
Okay.
And so it's a 10 by 20 booth that's integrated within the show. It's going to be growing, though.
And you're going to give awards and prizes and everything.
Yeah, all the
to
work is
young
publicly
people.
displayed. I made up the program.
Wonderful.
And Sunday, I personally give a presentation at 3 o'clock, so all the
Okay.
families come.
Excellent.
And we have $250 in Youth Art Awards, and the kids get a beautiful 2-foot ribbon,
And
which
I
is
bet
the
they-
same size as the professional artists.
Excellent.
So we expose them to the entrepreneurship of doing art shows for a living. I also still
Very
have
important.
manual, it's very important, right? And we still have manual applications which don't exist anymore because everything's electronic.
Yeah.
So I have it as a pass out so we can start exposing them.
Okay.
Because there's no classes, there's no seminars, how to apply for an art show.
Yeah, it's very difficult in this day and age to
Right.
get all of that in. Well, I'm glad you're doing that for these
Thank you.
young people as well. And I love your necklace, and we'll see more of that when we go to the show.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Suncoast FYI, we find out what the upcoming Dream Walk event is and how Family Promise is impacting our community. So please stay with us. Our next guest is Director Jennifer Fagenbaum with Family Promise of Sarasota County, and she's here to tell us more about the Dream Walk. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Before we get into what the Dream Walk is, tell us please what Family Promise is.
Well, Family Promise is a program, a 90-day maximum program, and we house families with minor children in their custody who've found themselves temporarily homeless. And we assess their needs and what their barriers are, and we try and get them back into housing and then get them stable again so that those families have stable housing.
Okay. And how do they find you?
Generally, they call 211 or go to another agency and get a referral to us.
Okay. And
some of them just call us. They find us on the internet.
do you work with other parts of the community as well?
Yes, we do. Our program, actually, what our program does is works with 20 churches in South Sarasota County. And we house our families there. So we have 13 host churches, and the families actually have rooms in those churches. So they have a room that the door closes. The churches, the volunteers at the churches will prepare home-cooked meals for our families. They get there about 5 o'clock in the evening, have a really nice dinner with the volunteers, and then they have a place to sleep that night that's safe and comfortable. And they have breakfast made for them in the morning.
Wonderful.
And a lunch to pack. And then they're on their way. They leave there about 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. Now, so you said it's a 90-day program. What happens to the families after the 90 days when they leave?
Well, right now, our average stay is about 49 days. So we're able right now to get families housed before that 90-day maximum time limit. If a family does is doing everything that they need to do and they're just having a hard time finding that stable housing, then they can, you know, we can make some exceptions and go a little bit over. But generally, we've found them housing within that time frame. And then they work with us to follow up. And they go into our aftercare program, and we just make sure that everything's going okay and that they're going to stay stably housed.
Okay. So are the children, now when you say you house the families and the children, so they're still attending school, and are the parents or their parent still working at that point? So they just come to you for housing because they've lost their homes?
Yes, yeah. So some of our requirements for our program are the adults and the families need to be full-time employed, and then the children need to be in school or childcare.
Okay.
And we have a day center, so when the families have to leave the church at 7:30 in the morning, and before they can go back at 5, they come to our day center if they're not working that day, and that's where we do our case management. So we have computers at our day center, laundry facilities at our day center, so the families can do their laundry. They use the computers for employment searches, for housing searches. We have shower facilities there for the families to use during the day. Really, whatever the families need to get things accomplished, that's what we have there at the day center. And that's also where we do our case management. So it's intensive case management, identifying barriers that the family might have and needs, and then addressing those. If they need child care assistance, if they're not getting child support, we work with them with our case management and do financial education.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the Dream Walk, please?
So Family Promise is going to have our first annual Dream Walk. This is our first fundraising event. It's going to be a walk about our program, kind of just getting the word out and in support of our program. It'll be downtown Venice on the island, and it actually will go by, we have comfort stations at the 5 churches on the island that participate with us. And so it'll be, it's about a 4-mile walk. There's a shortcut too, about 2 miles. And everybody that is participating will get a t-shirt.
And when is this taking place?
That is November 11th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we're starting off at Venice Presbyterian Church, which is one of our host churches. And you can go online to our website and go to our Dream Walk page, and all the information is there. You can register and participate.
Great, thank you. We only have a minute left, but quickly, what would you say is one of your success stories?
I have this amazing family. I love all our families, but I have this amazing family. She came into our program as single mom. She didn't have transportation. She had a difficult time with her job. We got a car donated for this family through 1-800 Charity Cars, and the family was actually in our program a little longer than normal. She saved $8,000 while she was in our program, got housed stably. Unfortunately, Hurricane Irma came, and the Mayaca River came into the rental. We managed to get her rehoused, and because of the amazing, the most amazing aspect of our program is all these volunteers that work with our families. Everyone that met Samantha, the family, while she was in the program, everyone that met her reached out, and we were able to refurnish her house for her.
Wonderful.
We got the family, the children especially. There was 2 little chickens. The children fell in love with them. They're not real, they're fake, but the families fell in love with them. And that family is actually going to host some of our families for Thanksgiving. Come back and volunteer.
Thank you. After the break, we find out more about Boxser Diversity Initiative and their free event, so please stay tuned. Joining us in the studio is Chief Judge Charles E. Williams of the 12th Circuit Court and Principal Dan Boxser of Boxser Diversity Initiative. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is an amazing event that's coming up, and I want to start first, though, because this was something that came to you, and I want to know how Boxser Diversity Initiative started this.
Okay. Nancy, my wife Lytton and I came to Sarasota 10 years ago. We lived over 30 years in London.
Oh my.
Yeah, so when we came here, we came from a city of huge diversity. And we saw an opportunity to promote diversity in this area. Not that it wasn't here before, but to enhance it. So we started a very small initiative entitled the Boxser Diversity Initiative to promote mutual understanding of different races, genders, etc.
Religion, everything, to bring a commonality to everything.
To bring a commonality. And we've had a number of events. I'll be very quick. We brought Morris Deese, who was the founder of something known as the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a very big organization. And then we sponsored a program called Beyond Swastika to Jim Crow, which was a story of Jewish professors going to the South to it's called Historical Black Colleges. And then we had Van Jones, who was a well-known CNN commentator.
And now we're coming up to the Freedom Riders event.
Correct.
So I would hope that everyone knows who the Freedom Riders were, but can you tell us briefly about them, please, Judge?
Starting around 1961, segregation laws in the South were starting to be challenged by people, ostensibly from people from the South, but A lot of college students, many of them from the North, decided on their own to challenge these segregation laws by boarding buses in the North.
Yeah.
The buses at that point would be integrated and taking those buses into the segregated South. And that was the origin of the Freedom Riders. They were obviously met with a lot of violence, but they wanted to bring attention to the fact that even though since 1954 legally, after Brown v. Board of Education, segregation was illegal, it was still being practiced in areas of the South.
Okay. Now, I know you have a lot of wonderful moderators coming to speak about that. Dr. Ray Arsenault was the author.
Yes, Dr. Ray Arsenault is the professor at University of South Florida and the author of the book, The Freedom Riders.
Right.
And PBS did a program on the Freedom Riders based on his book. So he's a local hero,
Yep.
and he's coming here.
Yep. So you have him, and you have Ellen Ziskin?
Yes, Ellen Ziskin.
Ziskin.
Ellen Ziskin is now a psychologist, but in 1961, she got
was
on a
one of the
bus.
one
She
of the
went
riders.
down to the South.
Yeah.
She was arrested and spent 6 weeks in what is called Parchment Prison, which is Mississippi
Yep.
State Prison.
So she has a lot to say now. I know you have other speakers, but we're
Yeah,
running
it's okay.
short here. So what do you hope to accomplish with this event?
Well, in light of what's been happening in our country recently, in Charlottesville and Ferguson, we wanted to at least start a conversation about protests, because protest has taken on a different meaning. We want to expand what the definition of protest is. We want people to understand that protest is a part of the American history of this country. And I think it's important to have a context in terms of what it was like then and comparing it with the protests that we're seeing now. So we hope to spark that
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yes, and I think that is something that everybody should be interested in. So can you please tell our viewers where to find out more about your event and how to attend, please?
Okay. If you go to our website, boxerdiversityinitiative.org, you could get a link to the event. But the event is on November 16th.
Thank you.
At 6:30 at New College at Sainer Hall Pavilion. It's free, which is important.
Wonderful.
And we want as many people, especially just to learn about this whole incredible story.
Okay, well, thank you both for being here. Stay right here with Suncoast FYI to find out more about the upcoming Venice Blues Festival. We'll return shortly. Joining us now is Steve Arvey from the Venice Blues Festival, along with CEO Erin Silk of Venice Mainstreet, to talk about the upcoming festival. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yes.
Great to be here.
Now, this is going to sound like an odd question, but who is Mainstreet Venice?
Absolutely. Venice Mainstreet is a 30-year-old nonprofit in historic downtown Venice, and our mission is historic preservation and economic vitality of the core downtown historic area in Venice.
And it's a group of Main Street organizations that was started because of all of the malls encroaching on our beautiful downtowns. So you're one of many that get together and keep us strong in our core.
Absolutely. There are over
Awesome.
2,000 Main Street organizations across the country and 50 in Florida.
Okay, wonderful, great. Well, nice to have you here.
Thank you for having
Thanks.
us.
And Steve, tell us about the Blues Festival and who is your headliner going to be this year?
Well, we're really excited this year because we got Elvin Bishop.
Oh my
and
gosh.
A lot of people remember him from
Yeah.
Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of movies, and he's got a great history with the Butterfield Blues Band. He's one of the last members of that band from the
remember them.
60s,
I
and so we're
remember them.
really
They're
happy
great.
to have Elvin, and he's done so many hits and everything, so we're really honored to have him come down here this year.
Okay, and what time does the festival start and when is it?
Well, it's on Saturday, November 18th. That's the big day
Okay.
where we have the music starts at 11 o'clock. We've got a bunch of different bands from all over the country representing different quadrants. And then we have Elvin coming on around 5 o'clock.
Okay. So there'll be music going all day long, though?
Music going all
Okay.
day long. We usually end about 6:30 or 7.
Okay.
We have an after party later on at the Hotel Venezia. And then Friday night's a big event too, because we have the Mainstreet. That's a free event. So on Friday, we fill up all of downtown Venice Mainstreet. It's great. This has been our 4th year of that event, and it's free. And we close off one of the streets, Miami Avenue, and we bring out a band. Barry Oakley Jr. from his father was in the Allman Brothers, and we've got his son. So we've got an incredible tribute to the Allman Brothers. You know, Barry Oakley plays all over the place, so we're really excited. And then all the different venues have entertainment.
All right.
It's incredible. I mean, it's just grown.
So is that where the Venice Blues Crawl comes into play? Because you get to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of it's free. Everybody can walk around.
Okay.
You have the gazebo has a show. The Miami Street, all the places. All the smaller places like Daiquiri Deck and
It's all the downtown businesses.
Yeah, Abby's, all the downtown businesses have somebody in there. And I modeled this after a festival in Ireland many years ago, the Guinness Blues Festival. That's what they do there. They bring everybody in. That way it spreads out the joy and it helps economic, vitality with all the places get.
Okay, so all of the businesses will be open that night, and restaurants and food, so there'll be something for everybody.
There'll be venues with blues musicians all out throughout downtown.
Okay, and who are some of the other headliners that you have?
Oh, we've got Andrew Bluesboy Jones out of Texas, a fantastic guitar player. And then we also have Eliza Niels out of Detroit. We've got Tommy Z from Buffalo, New York. And then we've got CeCe Tennille out of Orlando. So they all bring their
own.
Yeah, all the people that know them from up the Snowbirds that know them, and then they come. It's pretty.
Wonderful. Okay, now you mentioned something earlier about an event at the Hotel Venezia. What's that about?
Yeah, so there's going to be an after party after the Blues Festival on Saturday at the Venezia, but also Sunday morning we're going to end the weekend with a blues brunch and a Bloody Mary bar, and that'll be at 10:30 to 2 at the Hotel Venezia on 41 in Venice, and Betty Fox with Josh Nelms will be there performing the blues.
Okay, and is there a cost involved?
There's
with that,
not.
Erin?
Just there's a great brunch buffet and a Bloody Mary bar.
Great. Okay, so tell our viewers one more time when the festival is.
November 18th at Maxine Barrett Park, 11 to 7. The evening before is the Blues Crawl downtown. That's November 17th from 5 until 10. And you can end off the blues weekend with a blues brunch at Hotel Venezia at 10:30 on Sunday the 19th.
Wonderful. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Suncoast FYI. We will return after a short break. Coming up Saturday on the Suncoast, there will be a chalk festival at the Venice Airport Fairgrounds. The Sarasota Medieval Fair continues at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds. The first annual book fair is taking place at the new Alfred Goldstein Library on the Ringling campus from 11 to 4. The 16th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Festival will be held at the Sarasota Polo Club. And the annual St. Armand's Circle Art Festival will have over 200 artists from around the nation. If you would like to promote your community event on Suncoast FYI, we would love to hear from you. Just call us at 941-361-4639. To view previous episodes, go to snntv.com under Programming. I'm Nancy O'Neill, and we'll see you next Friday on Suncoast FYI.